Um, maybe while I go deal with my son very quickly, you
Yeah, I
can.
can yap.
Okay, sounds good.
Hello.
I'll be right back.
I'm now the host. So my name is YoungPuke2. I am current low sec CSM. And I am running for uh running for office for CSM 20. Hello, Umfees. Umfees strong, and I am running as a candidate for small to medium-sized groups in low sec, null sec, in faction warfare. I've been currently CSM for past year, and I am also the Alliance Executor of Sedition, a low sec PvP focused group. Um, what I think about pings in general, chats, brothers, they fucking suck. And since Rotten Ralph has moved on to greater pastures, we can now ping in general chat whenever we want. And we will remember him because as he goes into the eyes of an angel. So no pings in general chat. But yeah, add everyone, boys, in chat.
Okay, I'm back.
Post your lizards.
There we go. Okay. Um, did Ralph leave because of the mosh pit? Okay, cool.
No, we had one of our boys left. No, he's fucking burnt out of being alliance leadership, dude. It's a lot of work running a mid-scale alliance, and he needs to click F1 for a bit. So
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I run a C5 wormhole corp, and I get burnt out just trying to deal with 30 dudes. I can only imagine what it would be like doing this from like an alliance level sort of shit. Um,
yeah, and we have like 200 heartbeats, and that's intense. Like especially how many hours a week you put in just to, uh, I just don't sleep right. I literally don't sleep. I wake up every morning. I have like 40 different DMs, and it's just like CSM, it's alliance stuff, it's content that I need to prep for. It's just like a lot of work, and I think part of my role this year is like I want to eliminate more content barriers because it's just like setting up timer fights just takes so much time, and I think some of the best fights are really the impromptu fights, right? That doesn't take as much work. Like people running PvE sites, so that's why faction warfare is so great. You just undock and you get a fight because people are naturally in space. But it's like outside of low sec faction warfare, none of that happens elsewhere really. It's all structure based, and creating more opportunities for that is definitely a bunch of goals that I have, and we can talk about that more. But um, yeah, you can also write "tickle me Elmo" in Discord, and he has will start giggling as a sound effect or something.
that's awesome. I like that.
For every subscribe, Chad Squatch gets, he will do Tickle Me Elmo, so you better subscribe.
Please, please. I need your monies. I need your monies to buy more plex.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
no.
I guess so. This was your first year being on the CSM.
Yeah, first
How
year.
how was this year for you? Because you said that you achieved a whole bunch of cool things for the Eve community at large. Do you just want to go over a few things that you achieved this year?
Yeah, I think the big three that I achieved is cheaper capitals overall. I think that has helped everybody. Faxes, dreads have gone down in price of roughly a billion S to a billion point two. I think carriers should be cheaper. I think, which is like a forward goal that I have, but I think capitals, which you've seen, the outcome of that is that low sec has been so hot. Null sec today had a 1 trillion over 1 trillion as dread brawl, right? And it's just awesome to see capital usage skyrocket so much. People YOLOing Hod Dreads with Haas Anonymous, people with which is NPSI Hod Dread group. Oh my god, it is a pie. And then
My daughter is staring. She just came down for a good night hug, and she sees
oh
Elmo. It's okay. It's normal,
yeah.
Elmo.
And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. And also another two things. I think the big one also is just like communication from CCP. Honestly, like they're more open to talking with us. I run two focus groups: a low sec faction warfare focus group and a non-faction warfare low sec group focus group for everybody else, basically. And CCP interacts. They ask us questions. They give feedback. They want to talk to us, improve the game, and that didn't happen like a year ago at all. and I think CCP Okami is literally the messiah of the second coming of Eve, and he's done great work working with us. And same thing with everyone else who's working at CCP, CCPK1P1, CCP Kestrel, all the community devs, just to name a few, like CCP Rampant. So just very, very open to feedback and working with us. And just generally, CCP is just more open. It's culture now. Willing to talk and talk about their visions and what goals do they have. And that for me was a big goal because I think that gets players buy-in into the vision of the game and where they want to head. So that I thought that was a big goal of mine. The second thing too is uh, balance passes and iteration. So now CCP has publicly stated their goal is to do balance passes once every 4 months, or actually it's once every 3 months. Two big ship balance passes during the major expansion or the major updates, and then smaller ones during the expansions. It sounds like. I think that's fantastic. That means more ship meta changes, things to remain fresher overall, and that's good. That's good for the game. Those would be the big three. I think cheaper capitals and cheaper battleships. You had a T1 battleship meta, which is awesome. That like now in place allows for newer FCs to try battleship comps out and capitals as well. You've had better communication from CCP's end and more iteration on ships. I mean, there's other things too that we accomplished, like Hicks on Sinos or Sinos on Hicks. I meant again, like that's huge change. It's
I totally
awesome change.
forget that that's a thing that happens. I live in wormholes mostly, but I just never get around to using like a hick on a sign on. That is a very cool little
It's
feature that you got added.
Yeah, Armageddon, not Armageddon. APOC navies got buffed, and like they're now being used more often. I pushed for that pretty heavily. And the same thing with Penguyor, like nerf to the Ferox navy, and Roke meta. I thought that meta was very stale. And again, like this is like it's not puke. It's just like I'm doing this. It's a team effort. People like Dujek, people like Mick, Fight Master, people like Drake on, Oz, Ariel, who you had on. Like it's just like it's a big group effort to get this shit through. I mean, even like the bigger soft stuff, like Kaz and I talk about it, Zintage as well, and a bunch of the other guys. And it's just like, what can we get progress on is like the most important. Oz and I do his show probably like once every 2 months now, maybe once every 3 months, just to give updates on like because the way that I approach things is like a very data centered view. So like we take all the ESI data, we clean it up, we make graphs about it, and we see how the updates impact the game based on like ship kills, activity, jumps, various data points we can look at. And the game's this past year is doing better. And I think that is improvement. And out of my goals from last year to this year, I got like 65% of it done. And I hope we can get more of a lot of faction warfare stuff through. We got a bunch of that as well. And it's a team effort, and it's not just a rising tide lifts all ships is like my mentality on the CSM. We have to work together, and then if we work together, we get more stuff done. We get more stuff done, the whole community benefits as well. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of yapping for that question. So
What's the metric you use to just show that that Eve is becoming better overall? Because you say you're very
fantastic.
fucking A. Let's go.
All right, so let me find my graphs. I sent it to Oz. Hold on.
Graphs. Graph me, daddy. I'm looking for a pen because I'm thinking of questions and my ADD brain is just going to completely forget
Hold on. No, it's fine,
things.
brother. Just
Yeah.
EDD with me. It's fine. We'll
Right.
just yap until the cows come home. All right, so I will send you a PDF that I made. Or actually, no, it's our data interns made this PDF.
Tweets.
Just joking. Because we have a lot of data nerds in Sedition. We call this Sedition content check. Every 3 months, uh, uh, every 3 months we post data checks. We send it to CCP. We talk about it with them. We can go through it as well. I did this on the Oz report I think last month, and it had like 3K views now, which is pretty dope.
Sick.
Um, yeah, it was a pretty poppin', well-received video, which is awesome.
See if I can pull this up on my stream really fast.
Yeah, so I can walk it through very quickly. I know it's not the focus, but this is like my approach on the CSM because I feel like a lot of CSM and people in general, right, we have a lot of biases towards our viewpoints, and so I think we have to look at data, and data is how we eliminate bias as much as we can, and look at data at different viewpoints. Um, and yeah, like it's just that's how that's how we sort of operate essentially. So hold on.
Let's go and put this in front of our ugly faces because nobody cares about us. They care about the data, just like
The
like
data.
as they should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, is there anything? I know you have it. How long do you have? Because I can chit chat all night.
I got an hour. I got
Okay,
an hour.
cool.
So
We can cut through this really fast.
yeah. So first one is just jumps in space. So this is like the last. This is a little bit old data too.
Yeah, 2024,
So we have like a
2025.
trend line. So it's like looking at all the monthly jumps of people, like people are docking, um, and like seeing if people are movement. There's movement in space. So obviously, high sec has a bunch of jumps. Then it goes into low sec has null sec has medium jumps, and then low sec has the lowest amount of jumps. Basically, it's population, right? High sec has the biggest population, null sec has a medium population, and then low sec has the lowest population. And it's consistent, like people are docking the same amount. What's interesting though is high sec there was a big decline, and that is because in April we got rid of the oh my god, what was that fucking? It was like the new missions that was happening, and these missions basically people were just getting all this skill like SP and stuff. I forgot what the fuck they were called. Basically it was like a massive bug, and people were just making alpha accounts, finishing the mission and botting it, and so that's why you have such a big drop. Because once we made that change, a bunch of alpha accounts like literally stopped, is what our guess is, and that's like the bit how it's a little bit steeper. Um, so if you go down,
Yeah,
that just jumps in space. This is not really interesting. It just gives you an idea of generally
yeah,
like
yeah.
what's
Just how
going
much
on.
movement's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's interesting. So if you look at these are total kills. Um, so so this is kills. What is this? This is kills per date. So generally kills in them each month, breaking down by each space. Basically it shows like um the changes, and so like these changes basically that we made. High sec again, major declines of ships and high sec being killed because we made those nerfs in April to also some ganking stuff as well. But otherwise, like it's roughly consistent amount of ships that are killed. Um, and this is also like jumps, I think, as well as we also put a variable in there. But you can this one's like not really interesting. I don't want to go
Okay.
this quick. If you go down another one,
Jumps per kill.
yeah, jumps per kill. So this is interesting. So like this is how many jumps do you have to get per kill mail? And so what we did is like it's not perfect, but the equation that we used was look at the total number of space, divide that by the total number of kills, how many jumps per average like it is like per region, like kills in each system. We added all those numbers up. Then we did some fancy dancy division. And then basically it's like per the number per capita, basically of of the amount of systems they have, how many kills are they getting or how many jumps do they need to get a kill. And basically these kills are just not, they're super low focal in null. Very few systems are getting a lot of kills in. Low sec is a little bit more consistent. High sec is the lowest, generally speaking, but you see that the number goes up past April, March, April, because we made those high sec ganking nerfs, um, which is like
Can you
very
just review
different.
what the high side ganking nerf was again?
I I completely forgot like what we changed. It's either like some ganking nerfs that we did, or it was there's like these missions, these high sec missions for new players that people were running alpha accounts on, and they get for free SP, and then you or free items, and they kill each other for the items or something. Um, it was like some change that we made in April, and I keep forgetting. Um, like exactly what it was. And I asked our colleagues in the CSM as well, um, but it should either way. It was like some change we made.
Yeah, yeah.
But
People.
this is not the now we get to
Yeah.
the interesting
Okay.
spot.
Yeah. People
So
are asking about dreads and stuff, but we'll focus. We'll get through this as
yeah,
quickly as
so
possible.
yeah, so this is just battleships, like how do battleship meta has changed. And if you look at low sec, all areas of space, and then low sec, like it's going up, it's higher over year, it's about 6% increase. So this is all space is green, low sec is red, low sec you're seeing growth, which is awesome. You're seeing more battleships dying. As we
That's good.
made battleships cheaper starting in March and April around there. So we decrease the amount of like minerals needed.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
then let's look at. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm just
Uh,
yay.
yeah, yeah, exactly, right. So you go to the next one. Um, this is again battleship kills versus low sec and null sec. Obviously, null sec has more people. Again, null sec's having growth in their overall battleship kills. So it shows the highlight of the health of the meta. Um, and then battleship kills in low sec as well shows the health of the meta. Null sec saw an increase of 25% of kills, while low sec saw a percentage of 41% more kills with battleships
Pretty
generally.
huge, yeah.
Uh, so capital kills. You can see that low sec kills more capitals than null sec does. And a good point is that 7% of the population of the game lives in low sec, while 37% of the game lives in null sec, and low sec is just pumping. We had a major war called the Waifu Wars in low sec from probably June, July, and August. We signed the Waifu Accords to end the Waifu Wars in August, and so we'll see if the data changes. There's a little bit less low sec fighting. Capital fighting happened in September, but that's also like the slowest period in Eve as well.
Yeah.
Um, so then this is just in context. You go down one. Uh, that's just low sec and null sec. But then if you go down per percentage basis, in June of 2025, go up on one.
Oh, okay, yep. June 2025.
Uh,
Oh my god.
yeah, so right there. So you look at by percentile basis. In June 2021, low sec comprised of 61% of all capital kills in that month. Like a
Holy
space
smokes.
that is tiny,
Hmm.
right? And it's the majority. Like the majority of capital deaths are happening in low sec. Remember the null sec numbers include ganking, it includes dunking, it includes like not dread brawls, like people that are ratting. So it's not like you can't really differentiate between the types of dread brawling or dread content that we're getting, but in reality, we are just seeing more capital content across the board though overall. But null sec capital kills went down, but while low sec capital kills proportionally went up. And if you go down again, you just see this massive increase. One more. Um, you see this massive increase in capital kills with low sec. I mean, it's just skyrocketing. There's so many caps that are dying in low sec, and if I think like if CCP give like a better ability for low sec to use capitals for PVE or whatever, and we will just use capitals so much more. It's fucking amazing. And yeah, so like as of July, Null has 92% of capital kills that low sec has. For Dreads, Null sec only has 70% of the kills that low sec does. So it's just like it's crazy. It's just like the capital meta, the battleship meta in low sec is fantastic. It is so healthy right now, and it's going very, very well. We just need to community promote it, and that's like part of my CSM 20 goals is to continue to do that. Cheapen carriers, cheapen faxes. Let's just get capital meta going, and we can keep the content rolling. I remember like we fought, right? Like we showed up and you had a Phoenix Navy and a bunch of Praxis and we fought each other. And it was a crazy capital fight, but it was still a capital fight.
Yeah.
Um and rewarding. Yeah, I think like there should be an investment of the content. What is this? Who is this? Just Lizard? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm just looking at our old battle report. But yeah, it was like tons of people, and it was awesome. It was fun, and I think that's the type of content we need. Um, is like we need more. Uh, we need more people to engage in this type of content. Yeah, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
done yapping
No, no,
on
it's
this
all good.
question.
So for me, so like I'm primarily wormhole. I'm Amazon adjacent. But like for me with low sec, I've dabbled in like low sec is making just a wee little bit, like primarily like gas huffing and like I never run missions because I hate running missions in Eve. I think it's the most boring shit ever. Not as bad as scooping up rocks or whatever. But I'm curious as to how we're going to increase the amounts of ISK for our low sec guys that's outside mission running and like doing like gas huffing. Because it is very dangerous space and it's not essentially super big space either, like you said, like only 7% of the total population lives in low sec, I think. So do you have any ways to help increase the amount of ISK or like value that Losic can bring to the average Eve player that might have one, two, three accounts, and not thinking about like the large, like snuffed out blocks or whatever that might be living in Losec?
Wow, that's a great question. I made a whole document on low sec PvE that I shared with you. I can post it in the chat. But I think there's a lot of barriers to low sec PvE. Specifically, I think like DEDs need to be revamped. I think low sec mining needs to be revamped. Bigger rocks, less rocks. Put Rorks out on grid. High risk capital mining. That'd be super fucking cool. And like you put Rorks out again, and then you fix mining, and that's another income source. You fix missions. So like you make level 6 missions, and those missions are group missions for like 5, 6 people, and you have to kill like a NPC dread. Like whatever, right? Like there's so many ways to make like group based PvP PvE. And if we do that between, let's say, different scales, let's say 5 to 6 people to 30 people, you'll have all these little fleets then like roaming around. But it has to be like sort of like static in a way. So like people will fight over these content in these constellations. And I think also, like, look how the battlefields are. Battlefields get a lot of fights. Ice Heights get a lot of fights. Um, like those type of sites where I'm sure you have maybe some ship restrictions and stuff, but like it promotes a certain meta, and like certain players will gravitate to that. New alliances will be created. New corporations will be made because there's a lot of null secers that want to go back to low sec, and that's like the unspoken truth. Like they don't want to live in a block. The block life is boring. You're F1 monkey. You're treated as a number, not an individual. And people want that sense of identity. And if we foster that identity in low sec, there will be more people coming. It means more fights, more content. But I think revamping low sec PvE and our focus group, so in our low sec focus group that we have with CCP, we submitted them a massive PvP PvE document of like, these are the type of site changes that we want. These are the type of things that we want. Like even what's a barrier in low sec PvE is standings. If I'm an Angel Cartel and I'm running DED sites in, let's say, like a Mimitar, Amar, Faction Warfare Low Sec, the rats are Angel Rats. I lose standings to Angel Cartel. So I can't run the PvE sites in Low Sec because the militia that I'm enlisted in, those are the rats I'm going to kill. So like it's just there's like these little things, or like if I'm Galente, enlisted in Galente Faction Warfare, I run Faction Warfare missions. The rats that I'm shooting are Kildari, so I ruin my Kildari standings. I can't go to Jita, right? It's like these little barriers that for reasons why people go to nullsec, but nullsec PvE is really, really safe, generally speaking.
I know, I
You just
hate it
warp
so
your
much.
yeah, right? Like, and I'm just like, dude, like let's just get small gang PvE. Like the home fronts. They place these FOBs in low sec, which is awful. Um, because like they just shoot structures and they're not worth running, which is like a missed opportunity on CCP's part. And if we buff those sites and we make it worthwhile to run for like 5, 6 people, that's a perfect PvE site for small groups to run, that they can get some ISK, they can get some wealth generation, maybe like 150 mil a site. It takes like 20 minutes to run for 5, 6 people. That's fantastic. Um, that'd be really, really good. It doesn't have to be crazy like Pochfin or anything. It just needs to be something so it's worth to run the site. Once it is, people will run it. More people are undocked. They're PvEing. They're also PvPing. It's just really, really good for the ecosystem overall.
um one concern I might have with that is just like I'm friends with quite a few giant multi-boxers. One thing I can foresee that causing, or just like Pochfin 2.0, where just we have giant blocks of dudes flying the same ship running these sites ad nauseum. Do you have like a suggestion that you would put forward to CCP to prevent giant multi-boxers just taking over low sec like they have in Pochfin?
Great question. And that's like the tough one. So the mazes sites that they did in the Drifter Crisis were not be able to be multi-box. They were very, very hard. Those are the type of sites, right? Like you make them so they jam. You have to use Logi. You get boost. You have tackle. You get all this stuff. So it becomes like a little fleet you have to fight that you can't just click tab F1, tab F1, tab F1, tab F1, tab F1. right? You can't use drones; they kill your drones, right? Like the rats insta-blap drones or something like that, and that's how you have to make it. And the designs are not repetitive because multi-boxers thrive off of repetition. If it's not repetitive, they can't then sort of min-max the site every time because that means like they have to learn the site again, sort of like how like Abyssal Dead Space, you really can't like those Abyssal sites you really can't multi-box that well because the sites are different. There's different rats every
Yeah.
time, and it's very difficult. Um, Similar to that, right? Like novelty makes it harder. So by making it novel every time, and they have like new software, like I'm pretty like I guess that like the mazes, what they do, like they're random, like they're just
Yeah.
so random. So like they're able to make those sites now. So that's how I would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that's one big problem I have with just Pochfin in general. It's just like it's just a giant multi-box blob that's roaming around just and they sort of have everything sort of min-max. I did really like the drifter events. Because I did have to go out and reach out to people like, hey, I can multi-box 4, 5, 6 accounts, but I this is too hard for me to do with my small little lizard brain. So I would like to see more of that in the game myself. But that's cool. I'm really happy to hear that you're thinking you got that in the back of your head already. A couple of people were talking about just nullsec projection into lowsec. What are your thoughts on just nullsec going like invading lowsec right now?
I am for long range projection nerfs. So whether it's fatigue, whether it's another system, the ability of these blocks to come into low sex with ease, whereas we have to deal with fatigue, is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, some
Um,
sort of long range projection nerfs, whether it's polarization on ANSYs, whether it is, and that's the biggest issue. And that's probably the number one issue still. I'm fucking. Can I swear on this platform? I don't know if this is a
I've already
PG-13.
sworn like 7 times,
You
so
did?
you're
All right.
good.
I'm so fucking tired of this conversation. I wanted it to be done, move on, so we can fix other shit in the game. It is stupid that we have sat here for 7 years bickering. What about this? What about that? Just fucking make a change, nerf the shit, and let's move on. Like, let's fix other areas. Why doesn't wormholes get an expansion? Why don't all these other, niche spaces get some attention? Because we're stuck having the same freaking conversations over and over and over again. It is ridiculous. And CCP needs to get their cojones, make a decision, and solve the problems that people are experiencing so we can move the needle forward. That's a big thing that I'm not obviously this aggressive with them, obviously. I'm much more of a
You can't be,
moderator
yeah.
voice, but it's very frustrating because like it feels like we're stuck. If we continue to have the same conversations over and over and over and over again, nothing moves forward. Even if we make mistakes. CCP and I buy into what Okami is saying. They're willing to do iteration and updates. They have positive feedback. They show that with the mining updates. Like I have buy-in on them, and you should too if you're watching, because they're iterating. Maybe it's not perfect, and if they fuck up, guess what? They can fix it. And if just like how they fixed the Blood Raider, the Crimson Harvest nerf with the drop loot, right? The 90% drop loot wasn't happening. What? A week later, we got it changed. So there's obviously potential to fix things. So let's get some updates through. Let's fix some things. Stop having projection and crazy projection into low sec and other areas. And let's have smaller groups be able to enter null sec again. Because there's a lot of low sec groups that want to move into null sec. They don't want to live in low sec, but they can't without living with a block. And I think that's a problem.
What sort of
There you go.
resistance are
That's my
you?
rant.
That's
Whew!
that's an awesome rant. What is the biggest resistance to the whole projection like arguments that other people might be making?
I think there's 2 points, and they're right. Like this is the debate, right? Like both sides are right. And that's like this is my moderating idea. Voice comes out. There's two issues. One, it's the local life. Yes, they own space. Yes, it's a benefit. So the local life, that they want to use their ANSI to move around better. Like they want to have some quality of life and feel like they own their space using gate instead of using gates. Fine, sure. And that's part one. Part two is that, well, they own the space, and the argument is that they should be able to move around the space, even far range. Sure, you can argue that, but maybe a region, but not 3 regions away. And like that's where the conversation and the debate is like where is far enough far enough? And sure, the changes that we got through, I feel very mixed about. I think for three reasons. One, I think the bubbling and the tackling on Ansiblexes doesn't hurt the big range fleets. It doesn't hurt the massive 200-man Ferox fleet coming over to you. What it hurts is the local life, the people that are ratting, the people that are gating through, the people that don't have a fleet that's protecting them. The Ansible exchanges that we got through this year, and I think it has hurt really the smaller players that are in it versus the big problem, which is the long range projection issue. Kaz and I have been chatting, and there's some ideas that are being made and like how to change Age of Sov, and there's like bigger systemic um, Sov issues that we actually have agree on. And that's the thing, like we may disagree on these things, but we're willing to work together and find solutions to make the game better. And just because like I'm here on my yap train saying yap 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 yap, um, doesn't mean it is that we're never gonna it's stagnating on the CSM. We got a lot of shit done this year. Even though like Kaz and I, or maybe Storm and I, or some of the other players, or Drake and I live in totally different walks of life, we're able to come together and push for changes that are good. And that's what makes a good CSM.
Wholly agree. Um, it sounds like to me like we need to have like a clear differentiation between low sec from null sec. Um, what would be a perfect null low sec for you? Like what if you were to imagine just like your perfect low sec? What would that look like in like your version of Eve?
I would like to have 15 seditions. I would love to have 10 plows, 10 IREDs, 10 dirt and glitters, 10 UCSCs. I want tons of life teaming all across low sec. And that used to be the case. There used to be tons of low sec groups, not just the big six. The big six are Snuffed Out, Big AB, Shadow Cartel, Sedition, Fleet, RC. Those are like the big six groups. And everyone else is just a massive step down. And then was that six groups? I didn't even count. But whatever.
It's close
Um,
enough. Who's
right.
counting?
It sounds cool. Um, but right, like that's the thing though. Like we want more groups. We want more like Abazons. We want more dirt and glitters. We want more UCSC, more ribbits, more plows, more of these smaller groups, because that's the new lifeblood. Those are the new content creators. Those are the new storytellers. And LowSec is the only space left, I would argue, that small and mid-scale groups are able to survive in. The rest are big blocks, or have agreements with blocks as true independent entities, and low class wormholes. That's it. Nowhere else you're going to find groups that have 200, 300 people that are trying to make a name for themselves. And I think we need to support those groups, because the game gets really fucking boring if you fight the same people every fucking time, all the time. There should be new groups coming, growing, getting destroyed, uh, empires falling. No group is too big to fail. And yeah, that's what I think. That would be the perfect low sec.
What would be the best way in your opinion to drive people out from null sec and from high sec to go into low sec? Would it be just an increase in just like ISK to get, or would there be like a unique thing that you can farm in order to be able to build this, that, or the other thing? What would be your way to drive people towards low sec? Would it just be like more content creation, or because from talking to people at my IRL meetup last week, a lot of it is just like 80% of the game are just people who want to see that ISK wallet go up. How would you drive people towards low sex so that they can potentially become like that next content creator?
Talking to a lot of people that left low sec and null. And again, as I previously stated, there's a lot of null secers that want to go to low sec. What's the barrier? It's hard to create value in low sec. It is the PvE blockers, whether it's for a high sec guy, that is a lot of misinformation. Low sec is so scary, you don't want to live there, you're going to die. Probably. But if the risk reward is great enough,
Yeah,
right? If
yeah.
the risk reward's great enough for the risk, people will live here more. There needs to be better PvE that is scaled for 5 to 6 to 10 to 20 to 30 people, that is not in faction warfare space. We've had so many updates in faction warfare space. Like, for example, low sec incursions are min-maxed already. That community is settled. That's fine. Okay. You have, like, for example, you have these accelerator flashpoints. You lose trig standings, and then like if you go to different areas of space, like it's a big issue because you'll get attacked by trig gate guns, and then like if you're a high sec player, you're like, well, I don't want to do low sec PvE if I'm going to lose standings, and then I can't go back into high sec. So like standings, the way that they operated is such a barrier because it's an archaic RPG model. Like your choices matter, and for a Zoomer that's 22, they don't give a fuck, right? They'd rather play Battlefield 6.
Yeah.
Um, right? And so like fixing standings, and in my opinion, the standings should not be from -10 to 10. It should be 0 to 10. Eliminate negative standings entirely, and instead you have incentives to maintain positive standings. It's an entire like revamp of standings, but I think that's how you do it. You say people, you want to be loyal to this faction, you want to maintain standings with them, but then if you lose it, you don't get punished. You don't get absolutely destroyed from it, and it takes a lot of work to revoke standings. It's going to be very, very difficult. Um, but I think if CCP does it and they fix faction warfare AWACSing, as someone said in the chat, I mean, AWACSing is like the number one issue that I'm running on. It's just so prevalent.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm hearing too. Just that's the
yeah.
biggest thing that's pissing people off from what I've read on Reddit and talking to people. It's just like just being AWOX nonstop. Like there's no way to prevent people from just changing to like a different faction, I guess. And then just doing the exact
Yep.
same thing elsewhere. Just like
My No, you're 100% right. Like my good friend Dread Operator from Snuffed Out, he was telling me a story like how, he ran all these epic arcs, all like he ran an epic arc, he did all the data center for tags for standings, he did all this, he cannot still enlist in a militia, right? Like he spent 6 hours running PvE sites so he can PvP. Why do we have that in a game we're spending $20 a month for?
oh yeah, it's totally fair. Yeah.
Like, hello? Like if I can 3 months of that, I can buy Battlefield. That comes out this Friday, by the way. You should play Battlefield. Like everyone else, this whole game's gonna die tomorrow for 24 hours. Because I think Battlefield comes out Friday. I'm not gonna advertise a different game on your stream, my bad. Um, but yeah, like I mean that's the thing. Like why if $60 of value, like uh why
Like
would I
why
play?
would you, yeah
It's like
why would you do things when you could be doing other things that don't require
other
as much
things.
grinding, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's just it's unnecessary grind.
yeah, like you said, like you're 22, and it's like obviously it's a very old like gamer base. And like one thing that I always strive to do is try and make the game more accessible to people
Yeah.
who are just like wanting to check it out. Um, I guess my biggest concern whenever I'm voting for a CSM is just how they're going to bring new blood into the game. Do you have anything you want to say about that? About how?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Another Yap topic.
please do.
So basically, there needs to be better integration between faction warfare, high sec, and low sec. Faction warfare is the best. I have so many players in my alliance and so many other alliances that joined after Uprising. They have stayed in the game. We mentored them. We grew them because of one of the best expansions, the Uprising expansion. Because people don't remember, previously to Uprising, this game was on the verge of dying. There was like 12,000 players in USTZ. People were unsubbing. Reddit was doomer mode, worse than usual. But there was like nobody playing Eve. And it was not until Uprising, a low sec faction warfare expansion, that got players back. People started playing the game again. New players came in, and you have a lot of new players now that are playing from that since then. Um, so what I think is you have to integrate high sec faction warfare into low sec faction warfare. Maybe it's high sec faction warfare missions that take you to low sec, and then you have to mine in low sec, and then you have to go have an escalation in high sec because of it. To start getting more fluidity and movement from high sec to low sec with faction warfare. Whether it's certain missions, whether it's to join a group, whether it's doing various things, but there has to be an interaction to encourage people to move to low sec, right? To join these other groups, get involved in a militia. Maybe there's a mission to like enlist in the militia and run a Plex, which there is one already, but it's not like a formal mission, right? And I think that's how you do it. Like you integrate it, or like you move the shipcasters, the faction warfare shipcasters, to more useful places, so that groups would want to join, right? They want to go into low sec, and they want to try faction warfare and not be afraid of it. I think a very good change in LP stores that could foster this. You buy T1 fitted ships in LP stores. Like, um, if you have 10,000 LP, you lost your Comet Navy. Guess what? You can spend 15,000 LP, maybe like a million ISK, and you get a new Comet. That helps new players a ton because new players, they don't have the hauling ships really. They don't have the logistic ships to resupply massively. Like give them tools to really foster and grow in faction warfare. And no one's going to care about T1 ship hulls being purchased by LP. It's a sync regardless. But it gives people a purpose with fits and stuff. And I think that'd be super, super good for the ecosystem. Because then a lot of these new faction warfare alliances have to spend tons of hours and time buying these ships, fitting them up, bringing them down, building them, instead just make it a part of the war zone. Like Helldivers, right? You have your standard weapon. Guess what? Faction warfare, you have your standard ship. Same idea.
I really do. Like we were talking about that at the meetup last week. And it's like, okay, how do we make people want to go and go out and fight? Like that exact thing came up where you could buy ships from a NPC station. Oh, I died. I respawn, or I clone back to that NPC station. I buy my ship again, and boom, I'm out dying and having fun again instead of needing to wait to haul shit from Jita, paying Push X or whoever to bring stuff into faction warfare, and I just get up and go and have fun. I think that's going to keep people around a lot more than just needing to go through like the mundanity of Eve. Like that can be the drive for a lot of people, but in order to get more people in, I think yeah, we definitely need to have some sort of way to change the way that new bros interact with PvP generally.
I agree. And I feel like that's how we have to think. Think about like a big problem in frame shift that I have encouraged or tried to bring up on the CSM this year is what are barriers? Like what are the barriers for content? Like think about it step by step. You're a new player. What is the difficulties skill points wise? Like to get yourself to be roughly independent, right? Or autonomous without relying on extra help. Like what are the steps included? And resourcing ships is a big one. And a lot of high sec players, they're not in groups like Sedition or Snuffed Out or Big AB or Fleet. Like sometimes, and like they don't know that group. Like a majority of Eve players are very casual. They're not watching Eve online streams, or you know what I mean? Like they're just trying the game out. And um I think that's how you help them grow is you decrease that barrier of entry. And I think T1 ships and faction warfare LP stores. Why haven't you not faceballed yourself into making the Federation Navy Comet being meta? Uh, I
It's
mean,
okay.
brother.
You,
Oh, hello, brother.
you don't have to answer that. It's just somebody just goofy.
I know him.
Um,
We were in the same corp long ago. I'm an old faction warfare player now, so I'm a boomer when it comes to it. But yeah, I mean, that's how I would do it. That's how I would. Good first step. Get T1 ships into the LP stores you buy, so people can rebuy ships and undock and continue fighting.
let's see. I'm just looking through your list of things. Oh, people keep on asking about carriers and when carrier good again. What's your solution to carrier get good?
I
What needs
think
to change?
carriers are the perfect utility ship. I think carriers would be super cool, whether it's their fighters or their mid systems are able to break through siege modules resistances for E-War. So imagine that TDs on carriers have maximum application. Think about jamming out faxes, jamming out dreads, make their SMAs bigger, make their capital MJDs not being effective by just one scram, but has need multiple scrams. Think of it as the perfect army blade switch knife, right? It does um, multiple things well, or not multiple things okay, but like depending on the scenario and how you want to fight and take a grid, that would be super cool. Um, that's how I view it. I think fighters need to be buffed, um, but that's really it. That's like I think. Sedition, my alliance, we use carriers as mule trucks. Like we have reships in them, ship people that die. You can take a new battleship out. We use them in combat. So like we drop with them, and then we escalate with carriers, especially with faxes and dreads. And so it's a start of our escalation chain, basically. And like people are like, oh, but it's not worth it. Well, fighters do decent, at least a battleship of damage, right? Like you have newts, you can have E-War, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Um, to drop it in content and have a purpose. You could put an Archon, it could have, a bunch of heavy newts, and it's just you have to think outside the box a little bit and not be afraid of losing some caps. Also, carriers need to be cheaper. I had mixed feelings about this at first, but after looking at my with the current price with fit, I think they've become a little bit cheaper. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, like
So
I never see carriers out in nullsec when I'm going on roams. I never I feel like they are currently where you exactly what you said, where they're just mule trucks for signing fleets on top of people, especially with the new change. Like I'm happy that they are changing things up just a wee little bit with carriers, but yeah, like you said, I think there needs to be some sort of more niche roles that they fulfill rather than just being shitty boosters as well as just like Sino taxis, I guess. It's literally Puke's fault that I'm still playing Eve. He used to teach me how to frig 1v1 and lit the fire that makes me log in once each month. Aw, there we go. That's very cute.
oh yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's I know it's. Well, I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer, dude. Been
How,
around town, taught a lot of people.
how long have you been playing Eve
Uh,
for?
over a decade
Oh my god.
now.
I am a
So
baby compared to you.
yeah, I'm like I sit in my rocking chair and I say this is the way it needs to be. And I basically lived in Losec the entire time. Um, my alliance is one of the most active alliances in the game, and I take very big pride in that. With my Plex Cox, I mean, we basically pushed the waifu wars this summer. Um, and I love anchoring structures, provoking fights, and provoking people because it comes with the territory, and you get a lot of fun because of it. You got to be a little bit of an instigator. Um, that yeah,
Um,
that makes it a lot of fun. I don't know, like it's like the cool thing about Eve is that it changes. Sedition is my alliance has changed over the years too, and who knows, maybe we'll end up in wormholes one day. That's on my bucket list. So
love to see you in wormhole space. Um,
yeah, it's a whole different meta and it's a lot of brawling, limited caps, but I just love dread balling. I love just slamming dreads and faxes into people. It's just like fucking slam me, daddy, and then just get started. So.
yeah,
Hopefully my wife can hear that, but
sl-
whatever.
not you, baby, not you.
Not
Uh,
you. Yeah, not you. Yeah.
yeah, I'm starting to get into capital production. So that's also makes me very very happy. Yeah, I do love undocking a good dread and just being sort of just that focal points in a fight where people like usually just, somebody said in chat like usually when you undock a dread you're probably going to die, but you're sort of the focal points and everyone's happy. Most people are happy to see a single dread undock. It's when we start seeing like 6 7 8 20 30 Cerditres like sign a win, and then it's like, well, there goes the party, I guess. um
No, yeah, exactly. But that's what makes it fun though, right? Like it's just so uh that's actually my dude, that should be my slogan. You know what? I'm gonna uh say that on the CCP stream. At the end, like CCP Swift is gonna be like, what's the final word you have? Me like, dude, I just want people to slam me, daddy, and we're gonna make the game better, and we're just gonna slam into each other all day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
So
I think we need a lot more of that in Eve. Like we can't just like I feel like looking at the battle report from Abs on Prime for the last three Dread Brawls that they've had in there. Like I like talking to Max about just like generating ISK. He keeps on complaining that he needs to go into his piggy bank and rifle through things and try to like come up with like money. I do sort of know ways that he's making money, but yeah, it would be really nice to sort of reinvigorate low sec in either the next updates or the next like expansion. Because it is very fun space. It is very fun space. We do get into really big fights, and also it's sort of small space. Like nullsec, it's just so huge. It's all over the place. And in order to
Yeah.
find a good fight in nullsec, I'll do 30 jumps before I find some lonely Ishtar, and then you try to tackle, and then it immediately just warps off. But in low sec, I feel like there's a lot more stuff to do, and it'd be really nice to reinvigorate. It's just like a way to give back to the main content creators, because Abzon is 4 jumps from Jita. Old Man Star, not that far from Jita either. Like it's just like all these big fights that happen from these like content creators. It'd be really cool just to sort of throw them a bone, in order to continue generating more content for everybody.
Yeah, I think uh it's very much you summed it up perfectly. Like I think fixing PvE in low sec, and I think one topic that I haven't been really mentioning about is that I fucking hate the feeling that when you hold a grid, you are not rewarded. For you cannot loot the loot of the spoils of your labor because you have these fucking flies that zoom in their little shuttle shits, right? Or their synesises and they're flies. They come in like they're a fly on your ice cream. They take a little bit and they buzz away. They loot everything and you don't get that dopamine hit of that reward you got for winning the fight, right? Like that's the fucking reward. That's the next hit. And so if I win a fight, right, I want to be able to salvage it, get good salvage. I want to be able to grow, get that loot, because low sec, a lot of the income that people get is looting the loot, your hard labor, right, of winning grids, and it's so hard. And what happens now is these Synesis little fucks zoom in and they take your stuff, and you're not rewarded for it. So like fixing that as a problem, I think will help Max a lot, help other low sec groups a lot, um, and it's asinine to me. Like sure, like there should be the option of people stealing loot, sure, but there should be like an MTU or something that you can anchor. Maybe it costs 400 million ISK, I don't care, and you anchor it and you're able to suck the loot in, and then maybe a looting fleet wants to shoot that, and then that's interesting. Not like insta warping haulers or insta warping synesises that nobody can, there's no counterplay to it. Allow some counterplay, and I think it makes it a lot more interesting, and groups will feel more rewarded for risking trillions of ISK. We had a massive dread brawl in Secede. It was 3 trillion ISK, and everything was picked apart by the end of the fight. It was over 500 billion ISK in loot was dropped. How much did we get? 20 billion between two groups. Nothing. Nothing.
So sad.
Yeah, it's just so disheartening. And then people low sec, big low sec fights, like we're not going to bother looting. You know how disheartening that is? So
Yeah, I can only imagine just like you're in this giant brawl, you're in hours and hours of tie dye, and then it's like, okay, now to go like recoup some of my losses, and there's actually nothing there for you and your friends. Oh my god.
yeah,
Um,
but like think about it, you're a new player, right? Like think about a new player perspective. Um, and like you got took your new FC, you got that big fight, you won. Everything that you're trying to loot is gone. Like that's like it's like you're having sex, and like there's no escalation, right? Like sorry, maybe I should have made that as an example. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
that
Like it's
hits too
just like
close to
there's no
home, okay?
finish. Right? Like there's there's no finish. Like that's the finish. Like you finish the fight, and it's like it's the pillow talk, right? And the pillow talk stage, there's no pillow talk. Like it's just, and that's how I explain it to CCP. That's not actually how I explain it to them, but that's how I think it through. It's like there has to be a conclusion, and there's like no sufficient conclusion. You know. All right.
um,
Well, that comment was for the audience to perk them up a little bit. So
what? So like you like in our little powwow with Max and the other Abazon guys, they were talking about just like like newbie ships or your like free Corvette or whatever. That's like being like a little bit of a sore on their side for when they're like doing their dread bombs or whatever. Um, what would you do in order to help prevent like Corvettes coming up and stealing your 300 mil ship module?
They can't have cloaks. That's one. Uh, uh, yeah, their cloaks. Because they do the cloak trick, right? Insta warp. My idea of not okay, this is crazy, but it's only idea. I'm not pushing for this asterisk. My idea that I talked with the guys is that if you open up a loot crate or a ship in low sec in the like you're looting or whatever, you have a 10-second warp delay.
My
So
God.
like you would open a wreck and you try to loot it, you become stasis. And then it gives people then the opportunity to swat the fucking fly. That that would be crazy. Like then you can't have like these insta warping haulers. I think the other issue that they said like these bots, these like whatever eyes bots, those need to be banned. That's another thing what we talked about, like the Udamia scout bots, like those are bots. And like they camp in Amazon, and it's just like they respawns over and over and over again. That just needs to be get rid of. But for the looting, that's how it's a crazy solution. I don't know how other people feel about it, but would I push for it? It depends if the community's for it. If they're not for it, I won't push it. If they are, fuck it, dude. You get warp disabled for 10 seconds. Or like Parchment CCTV, same thing. Like it's just all these alpha botting accounts is just awful. And I didn't really know about it until I came on the CSM because like I don't really deal with the alpha like accounts that are scanning. I have Sinos watching my staging 24/7, and I don't really care. Um, so, but yeah,
Oh, that's really good. Like I didn't really think of that being much of an issue. But now listening to people complain about it, it does really suck when you do your big fights and then you're not able to get sort of the fruits of your labor. Um, I, f- I feel like maybe 10 seconds might be a little tough, but just because, like that shouldn't be content that's being denied to that group of people because that's how they enjoy it. But like you said, if it's denying people joy who are doing this content creation sort of side, then you should listen to the guys who are actually putting up the risk, right? If there's no risk in like going in there and just scooping as much loot as you can, then that sort of is bad gameplay for Eve, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. Yep, you're right.
Um, awesome. How much more? I
I
guess we.
got I got 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. Is there you have in here Satoyos? What did you want to talk about there in the Satoyo?
Oh, they're just bug sites, and I think they're uh is they just need better workarounds. Like they're bugged, they're not optimized for low sec. Fixing them, don't delete them because I think they have a value in the community, the CTOs, but I think fixing them and optimizing them so you get rid of the bugs so other people can contest them would be good.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
basically the idea. They're old PvE sites that have never been fixed.
I think that just goes into just like PVE BP needs to be adjusted and updated to more of a modern audience, just like what they've been doing with like the money anoms. Like that's something that super needs to be looked at, especially with like mission running. I did like maybe one afternoon of mission running. I never touched it since, just because it's so I don't like it. I don't like it.
I
Barry's
agree.
PVE income trig guns. What's that all about?
So that's basically the eating com uh these eating com like guns and high sec, like people will spawn these eating com rats in high sec that kills freighters, and it's just awful. Same thing, you have poor eating com standings or trig standings, like all these guns and gate shit, it all needs to be deleted. Like it's just bad, just not good. So
Pickout stations or some factions
yeah,
disproportionately affected.
yeah, so like there's like I think it's just general ideas, like I'm not sold 100% either way on like improving NPC stations. I think the big problem with NPC stations is the office corporation tax is way too high for small groups. Like 500 mil a month is a lot of ISK if you're a small group, and you need that in order to grow. I think decreasing that, adding like CCP needs to look at how the layout of the game has changed in low sec or even really in Empire space over the years. Because there's a lot of systems that are now very important and they don't have clone base, right? They don't have certain features, and I think that's backwards, especially if you want the smaller groups to grow as well.
Um, can I go on a soapbox for just a second?
Go for it, my friend.
I fucking hate faction warfare, like the like going into the Plex thing. My biggest problem that I have with it, as somebody who doesn't do that as like his main income source, is that when I go into his site, I expect people to want to stay and do PvP. So I'll go in there and there will be a guy sitting there right on top of the Plex. As soon as I warp in with even like a T1 frigate or cruiser or whatever, they immediately warp out. And I've done that for evenings, just looking for people to go kill in low sec, and it's just like the entire evening is ruined because I can't get a fight. Is that something that the greater faction warfare community is okay with, or is that something that maybe we need to change?
My brother. We've asked for tackle and plexes since 2022, probably way before that, since like 2012.
Good.
Tackle in all the plexes, no more empty ships and plexes, not a DPS check. Make it actually a little fighting event that happens similar to the insurgency plexes. You get tackled, you get webbed, you get scrammed. Like it should actually be a contest in the plexes.
Good.
Yeah,
That you immediately get
yeah,
my vote on
that
that one.
yeah, like it's just so backwards, right? Like it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Like why are we promoting not risk and low sec? Low sec is not the stepping stone to null, right? Uh we want what's the word I'm looking for? Like we want risk, we want change, and like make it risky. Even if it's a new player, if they have risk, that's good. Then they'll learn, right? Like they won't be afraid. And we have to overcome the fear of losing. Like who gives a fuck? It's a game. Sorry, that's my soapbox as well. So
Awesome. Hey, cool. I know just like how Eve works, that like you say 15 minutes, but then you gotta show up and start pinging your boys to go have fun. Anybody in Twitch chat, do you have any like actual good questions for young Puke? Instead of
Uh,
just like when like it is a very serious question, when waifu carriers. I want my waifus that the Chinese server gets, but I know that might be a bit of a stretch for Tranquility
yeah,
servers.
I mean, I think there's three big heraldy items. Uh, three big herald items that need to be necessary: pirate hats, eye patches, and cat ears. I brought up cat ears during the summit, and everybody laughed at me, but we're not gonna stop until it happens because even if you make it $100 CCP, look at me, brother. You can make so much money from the weebs. Okay, the weebs want the ears. Then we can make tons of money for the game, and we can get tons of more cool shit. Waifu carriers, dude. Come on. And think about it. Like you already have like a V holo or V hologram streamers for Eve. The next step is cat ears. Okay, come on.
Yeah, like even just like we already have monocles and we have like Doctor Who shits. Just like
Yeah,
give me like that even two, maybe not $200, but like maybe like 2,000 plex, 2,000 plex, and then you get your blingy cat ear color of choice. Like that'd be pretty great.
yeah. That exactly. You know that would be cool. Um, I think um that'd be a good change. Yeah. It's just funny, and I also think too, like another thing, like cosmetic for like female players. When you wear hats, your hair disappears, and I think like for female players, like they want to show their hair with a hat or whatever, like baseball caps and stuff, because it's like the design. Some people message that to me. I think that's interesting. The other thing too is like I'm not name changes. I think like name changes should be in the game because like oh my god, my name's fucking YoungPuke. Like what the hell? Um, and if you can change your name, but you have like a history of your name changes, that'd be pretty cool as well. Um, But yeah. Any other questions, guys, in chat? How
Um,
do you want to diversify dread meta so it's not just Rev Navy and Zerns? First, you got to nerf the Zerns, brother. Decrease their range and decrease their damage. Their lock range. Um. Uh. Yeah, brother. I know.
my question
But
is,
yeah,
will I be able to experience the RP of supporting Blood Raiders to earn Blood Raider items like BPCs and cap BPCs, or is the Blood Raider LP store um, F word?
the F4. Yeah. I don't think so. I think Blood Raiders can have updates on their LP store, like especially all the items, like even the Chimoshes. Like I don't know yeah, dude, the shaved head. No, I definitely think like there needs to be like changes to the Blood Raiders LP store. It has not been looked at in a long time. I've offered some suggestions. How to. I don't think like Blood Raider faction warfare is the way to go, but I think like reinvigorating the pirate factions would be very, very cool. Like the Mortis Legions or the um Sancha and a bunch of other stuff would be pretty good. So, but yeah, I don't know. Mike disagrees with me on name changes. I think in 2025, especially if we want to be more inclusive, I think we should allow name changes. I think some people don't identify with their name anymore. I've heard this from many communities that if they don't identify with their character anymore and they want to resub, we already have the body changes. Like I think name changes with at least a history thing, so you can look them up. I think it'd be nice and it'd be respectful for people that may feel that way.
Yeah, I
The
agree.
game's 20 years old. You know.
Yeah, no, there should be a way for people to change their names that doesn't ruin like Intel and other things. But and I think having that history name change would probably help out quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's the middle ground. It's just yeah, I just think like there's I don't know, like this game's so old and people change. So
is there any final thoughts besides Smash Me Daddy?
well, obviously Smash Me Daddy. But I think the final thoughts are multiple. So I think I have proven myself as a CSM. I got a lot of my things that I want done this year. I think what I bring to the table is a moderating voice that I'm willing to advocate for multiple communities, even communities that I'm not a part of. My approach is a community-based CSM. I go into the communities, get feedback, bring that feedback to CCP. I don't support any one or two groups per se. I support you, the player. And I think if you want a CSM that supports the player base in general, I am that CSM. I've been advocating for players now for like 3, 4 years. I've been hand selected by CCP because they obviously think I have some worth at least. Um, and I think that let's continue to work. And I run 2 focus groups, and it's been very successful of getting consistent iteration. I've gotten iteration and iteration and updates while even not on the CSM. And I want to continue doing it. Even if I don't get elected, I'm still going to be doing what I do best and is advocating for the player base. That's what old timers should do is like, let's go help the newer next
Oh my god,
generation
yes,
be
please. Yeah,
better.
100%. Yeah, we need that new blood in the game. And I totally agree. Yeah, that's probably if I were to ever vote for a CSM, it's like how are you going to help new bros out because just me just being still sort of new, been playing the game for like 4.5, 5 years. I'm still learning new stuff and just being able to interact with the older crowd and having them being sort of like that guiding light for me to go do stupid shits.
Yep.
Helps basically catch me in the game for as long as I have. So, no, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like helping newer players out in multiple communities is going to make the game better. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on tonight, Young Puke. I know you're a busy man. Um, I guess that's yeah. You definitely have my vote. I hope other people here will also be voting for you. I'll be reaching out to a couple of my dudes. I'll try posts. Do you mind if I post your little talking points in my Discord as well?
of course, it'd
So
be
people,
absolutely my pleasure. Yeah, sure.
fantastic. And just so people can go and read up on that stuff because this is all very important stuff. that people should be aware of that should be getting changed, especially like me. I don't do a lot in faction warfare. I focus on like wormholes. But maybe if they stop making like plexes so shitty, then maybe I'll want to go in there and engage a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, literally tackling all the plexes. I think like we need to get that tattooed, and like maybe we gotta make posters and make it outside fan fests, and have the sign. But just fucking do it, guys. Like it's just been asked for 10 years. Let's just get it done. We move on. You know, and they've been doing a good job. Like I can't complain with CCP. Like sure they fuck up, they make mistakes, but CCP Okami, CCP Rotati, they really care, and
It's
so does
good.
all the other developers. So
It's good to hear. Awesome, cool. Thanks for coming on,
well, thank you.
YoungPuke. I'll let you go.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Awesome, that was fun. Get rid of him for a minute. Um, thoughts? Yeah, like again, like one of the things that I really don't like to engage with is faction warfare, just because again, I when I think of lowsec, I think of it being like primarily PvP centric. I don't go there to mine or to go do mission running. I don't know there's a big community that's based around that. But when I go into a plex and there's somebody there, I expect to fight or like fight. I want to be rewarded for going into a plex and putting and risking myself. I don't look at a plex like I can make money from this. I look at a plex. I'm like I want to go in there and fight. So like that would like I know people are like okay, how are we going to make dreads better overall, or how can we make carriers better overall? But for me, as somebody who's like still like dipping their toes into like low sec stuff and still trying to get a feel for how it is, when I see people who are streaming on Twitch and they're like I do faction warfare for nothing, like this is my how I want to log in and I want to go and get fights, and they just spin around in a plex for 10 minutes. That is the most boring shit ever. Like for me with wormhole space, like I could just go and like run a site and okay, now I'm gonna go and like go roll holes or go scan, or else I'm going to dip into nullsec. For me to want to stick around in faction warfare, I need that boom 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 boom, like bring me that dopamine or bring me death essentially. So your graphic designer, it's me. um but I think I've interacted with the Young Puke probably a couple times in game, so it's really nice to actually put like a voice to the name. And he will definitely be getting my vote again. Like it's nice to have people who are leaders in the game that they don't have some sort of like hidden agenda. Like I know like no, it's like leadership. They do have like that stigma of like being like, oh, you're just pushing content for your guys so that you guys can get more powerful or whatever. But it's nice to hear Young Puke talk about like low sec, which does still feels more like the Wild West of Eve than nullsec is anymore. Like I've been doing MPSI for probably 3 years, and I don't know, you get a good fight once in a while, but it usually turns into like blobs. like so it would be really cool to see a little bit more good stuff coming to low sec. And I think probably as much as I would love to have wormholes to have this giant expansion, I think low sec would probably be the best place for CCP to move forward with bettering the game. It's when I did my Eve meetup last weekend in Edmonton, one thing that we talked about and complained about was that nullsec is too big and we need to shrink the game somehow. And I think bringing people to lowsec is in like trying to incentivize them to come and like do PvP, do PvE, make ISK, make memories. Pushing people towards lowsec rather than nullsec is a better way of shrinking the game or more organically than just hey, we're going to shut off this section of nullsec because nobody lives there. So that's my little soapbox. So Young Puke, W's in chat for Young Puke. Yeah. So um yeah, Victory or Valhalla when you slide into a plex. Yeah. I mean I know I know they PvP each other, but when I Yeah, it feels very stale. I know Amionia. No, this is Annie. She did a YouTube video about complaining about joining like a like some nullsec fleets, and just like it was just like content denial. It was just like it was really stale for her just to sit there and wait for 20-30 minutes, and then you just get turbo blobs by another group. It would be nice that if they turn low sec into just like a way for small groups to thrive somehow. I don't know how they would do that. I'm not a game creator, but I think that would be a really cool way to bring people more into Eve, which is yeah. Anyways, cool. Um, that was my idea for tonight. I maybe let's see. Do. I think maybe we go do a little bit of PvP. And we'll actually slide into some low sec shit, and maybe we'll go find someone to go kill. So we're gonna swap over to Eve, and we'll go and maybe do some factual warfare in honor of Youngblood. You guys, just give me like 3 seconds, guys, while I log into Eve and get shit changed. 1 second.